I hate that music versus Philly, man. I ain't gonna lie.
Man, damn, man. Bro.
Talk to me, A.M.
Cut it off, boss. Man,
What you mean?
At the beginning of the game, bro. I said it was a win-win situation. If we win and outright beat Philly, good. You beat a division opponent, not rival. Y'all know what time it is.
Facts.
But then if you lose, you win because you creep up, dog. Man, kill the music, bro. Find another track, dog. We are winning, bro.
I'm struggling to celebrate this, though.
Bro.
Can you give me a second? I can't, bro. It's Philly, bro. It's, even though you right, it's just, it ain't going in. Coach, can you talk me into this?
Not letting it, man. It's tough, man. We lose to Philly, man. I mean, there's no win in this, man. There's no win in losing to Philly and getting swept in a season series and getting beat by an average score of 20, 24, 25 points in both games. There's no win in that, man. And you can't tell me no win in that, because when the last time Philly did that to us? Like never.
Yeah.
I don't even remember them ever beating us this bad. Maybe when the year we went 1-15, but you talking about 30-some years ago. I've never been dominated by Philly like this. You know, it's been years, decades.
Yeah. Yeah, man. A.M., you got some pushback?
No. I don't.
All right, man. I can't wait to get into this, man. I can't wait to really break this down with both of y'all.
I hate them with every fiber in my being, dog. Like, I despise them, bro. I would not even use them for toilet paper if it was the last thing left on earth, bro. I would not want them touching my ass, dog. That's how much I despise those filthy birds, bro.
Hold on real quick. Today's stream is brought to you by BitUS. 150% bonus on your first deposit and 125% on your next two deposits up to 2,000. Promo code YouTube 150. All right. So, before we get started, man, because actually I guess I don't need this countdown. No, I do need this countdown for a little bit more. What does today's performance do for Mike McCarthy and Zimmer? I'm gonna start with you, Coach.
I mean, it doesn't do anything for them. I mean, I don't know. It hurts them in the public opinion. Front office should have made their decision already. And they might not tell everybody, but if they haven't made their decision, they're poor front office. They should have made their decision about what they're gonna do with their coaching staff already.
Yeah.
Because if they're still in limbo, that just shows how inept they are as an organization. Nobody will wait to the last these games. If they're thinking about changing them, they will already be in the process of trying to bring their people together of what direction they're gonna go. And if they were going to keep them, they would already have negotiation with them and trying to sign them into the extensions, because that's how you do. That's how winning organizations do, or teams will have a tendency to win. So, public opinion is what we're really worried about, boss.
Yeah.
Public opinion, it hurt Zimmer and McCarthy.
Yep.
With losing this bad, but front office should already have their opinion, a decision made.
Boss Cowboy, Coach Marv, and so good to see you guys on this lovely holiday season.
Good to see you,
man. Merry Christmas to you, man. Coming up New Year.
Yeah, absolutely, man. The Cowboys get beat down and slapped around and called Susan, man. This was horrible. This was bad. This was embarrassing. I don't care how many games the Eagles won in a row. I don't care about Saquon Barkley. I don't care about
bro.
We got slapped around, man, and kicked around. We were treated literally, as people say, the red-headed stepchild. We were treated as if we stole money from the front office of the Eagles. We were treated like we were the scum of the earth. Like, we were the gum on the bottom of their shoes, man. We got dogged out in this football game with little resistance. And that hurts Mike McCarthy. That hurts Zimmer. That hurts the respect of the organization, and like everybody making fun of the Cowboys and making them actually like a complete joke. Like, ha ha ha, we just beat you guys like you guys are a JV team. It was horrible, man. And you know what? It was bad, man. And at the end of the day, man, what do you play for? You play for dignity. You play for yourself. You play for your family. You play for a sense of pride. And I didn't see the will, the fight, the want to, the desire. I didn't see any of that in the Cowboys. And that was the most disappointing part about this game.
I saw it, but it left the building quickly.
Yes.
Now, going back to your original question, boss.
Yeah.
As far as changing my mind, not necessarily, because today, I mean, to OC's point, I mean, you look at the game. Look, this had the feeling of like a college or high school homecoming. You know, they schedule them toward the end of the season. It's a home game. And the Eagles came in here, and not only did they get Saquon the record, not only did their starting quarterback today have to only throw 15 passes, not only did they have 13 completions amongst their wide receiver core and amass almost 200 yards, averaging 15 a reception, and then you had, bro, it was so bad, you had receptions of what is this? Look how bad that 20, 49, and 34 yards. That's no way to win, y'all. Like, and then you let Saquon almost get 200 on us. Like, they were able to do everything. And then on top of that, if all of that wasn't good enough for them, they went ahead and secured the division against us today. That is a horrible taste left in your mouth. That's not a way you want to go out. And they danced all over us. Very disappointing. Now, the part that I was I kind of expected that from Mike McCarthy and his offense. To our point, we've said we wanted to see, at the very least, a new play call on next season. But I'm a little disappointed because over the last couple of weeks, my defense has given me hope. And they played with some tenacity early on. We were shutting them down better than the way the game ended. But long story short, this is just it's unacceptable, and this is the nasty taste. This snapshot nasty taste is what you need to frame and put up in the boardroom as ammunition and as motivation for next season. Like, this is the mark. You need to be better than this group right here. That's what we saw today. So that's the mark you got to press for, because at the start of every season, what do we say is the goal? Win your division. Well, look at the division winner today. That's your example for next season.
Yeah, and let me circle the block on something just really quick. And when I say fight, and A.M.P, you're right on what you said. I mean, the Eagles broke their will. They
Facts.
broke their will. And okay, when you play a football game, and everybody here has played in the game, thank God, right? So you guys will know what I mean when I say this. There's a time when you line up at the beginning part of the game and you hit your opponent, and everybody's hitting their hardest. And then you hit your opponent again, and that happens probably throughout the course of a quarter, maybe 2 quarters. And there's a point in that game where you hit your opponent, if you're good and you're on your purpose, and you feel them get weak. You feel them not have the same amount of bravado. And to yourself, if you're a real baller, you say, I got. You feel the air coming out of them. You feel it. And it's not something that you can watch on TV. It's something that you experience because you play and you hit you and you feel it.
Right.
You know that he's going down. You know. That happened to the Cowboys way sooner than it should have happened, and it's indicative of the lack of motivation and tenacity that is needed to be a championship caliber football team, which speaks very, very poorly of Mike McCarthy. And I was actually on the side of thinking, okay, if he gets to 8-8 or close, or 500, because it's 17 games, look, they may probably bring him back on a short-term deal. But when you see stuff like that, it makes the last game extremely critical because you want to see, can you get these guys to play for you? Can you get these guys, even though they're not going to make the playoffs, will they give you effort? Will these guys down their scores? Will they give you everything they got? And you saw some of that the last couple of weeks, but you didn't see that versus a division rival today. And this is a game that you really needed to see it. And that's the part that I'm kind of stuck on.
Oh, hell no.
I think y'all been a little bit too tough. For real. I think everybody been a little bit too tough.
Oh, here you go, guys.
No, just hear me out.
Here we go.
Oh, see, listen to me, bro. Listen to me. I think Cooper Rush let the air out the bag this game, bro. He let the air out the ball, bro. Like, and yes. See, because this game was weird.
Boss, I got you. Let me help. Tag me in.
Go. And if you don't slam him, I'm gonna get my tag back.
I'm gonna give you some other player perspective too, because I played on the defense, right? So you could be playing with a tenacity and an excitement and an energy, and you could be fighting, right? And you could, win that series and get off the field. Punt team goes out and you sit down. You get you a sip of some of this stuff right here, right? You get you some of that and you sit down and you sit there and you're looking up at the Jumbotron and you see your quarterback on the field and you see him to throw noodle after noodle after noodle after noodle after duck after noodle. You don't think that's going to take your will to win away? You don't think that's going to take your will to win away?
It'll take your will. All right. Because see, what was we all saying in the first half, bro? Let's not forget the game flow. We were still praising Zimmer.
We were controlling. We got down there easy.
Yes.
We were moving it. And it wasn't until we started having them blunders and he threw that duck out there.
Yeah.
And the Eagles players were fighting over the ball like birds fighting over bread at the park.
I honestly feel like we was 2 players away, bro. I feel like Cooper Rush and Booth was just the letdowns, bro. Listen, if you could get better play out them two, this game is totally different.
Yep.
And they were different.
To their credit, they were very disciplined in their commitment to the run game. They just kept turning around, handed it off, chipping away. Okay, third down, we need some more yards. Okay, let's spam Booth. And that's what their game plan was. It might have not been when they got to the stadium.
They spammed them.
They got on that field and saw that. Okay, we'll try to run a little bit. Okay, get the tight end involved. Okay, spam Booth. It was spam Booth the whole game.
2 players,
and if
bro.
he wasn't helping on that end, then it's like Cooper Rush says, hey, let me give your offense another chance. And then you have Rico say, hey, let me give your offense another chance. And then Jake Ferguson says, hey, let me give your offense another chance.
Well,
damn. I dropped my head too.
I guess I'll be with you, OC, because this is a microcosm of the McCarthy team since they've been here. In tough situations, they have not been mentally tough since day one. I told you at the beginning of the season, this season was going to come down to the thing in between the 2 ear holes of the helmet. And mentality-wise, toughness-wise, when things get hot or things get adversity, you start to find out what the real toughness of your team is. And this team gets into adversity situations and they don't, and it takes remarkable plays for them to come through. I want y'all to be mindful. In the Redskins game, we got two to a kickoff turnover for touchdowns. That's not something common that happens. So let's don't talk like we were dominating that game. In the last game, we got 2 remarkable plays by 2 players that normally don't happen. The Jordan Lewis interception, I ain't seen that before ever. And the Bland play was a remarkable play by a quarterback. Other than that, when we have adverse situations, we are a reflection of our coach. And every time it gets tight, boss, we have talked about this, and we have talked about this in live screens. When it gets tight, he starts getting nervous. So if he gets nervous, if your leader gets nervous, when your troops start, when things adversity come, you look on the sideline, you see his face, you see us start putting our head down. This is a microcosm of who we are, and we're not a tough football team mentally. And listen, yes, Booth played bad. Cooper Rush played bad. But listen, we put Cooper Rush in a situation to play bad. Duh. We put him in a situation to play bad.
So, Coach,
we went out there saying he was Dak Prescott. And we didn't run the ball. And then the more he threw the ball, we said last game he had a great game. And then we tried to depend on that this game. And guess what happened? It blew up in our face.
Yeah.
So,
I agree with some of what you said. I don't agree with all because you use some words like every time, and I don't think that quite applies to Mike McCarthy. So, because Mike McCarthy is also the. Hold on, Coach. I didn't interrupt you. I didn't interrupt you, Coach. I let you finish. I let you finish, Coach. I let you finish. I let you finish, Coach. Let me get my point in.
Okay.
So, if it was every time. Why is Mike? Because you said every time, Coach. You might have overextended yourself with that. Every time. Because if it was every time, Coach, can I finish, please? What I'm saying?
Okay.
I didn't interrupt you at all. So, if it was every time, why is Mike McCarthy 12-6 with backup quarterbacks? That is the definition of crisis. If you are 12-6 with backup quarterbacks, to me that says you manage crisis well. Now, do you have some legitimate critiques? Yes, you do. Yeah, I believe that it would have been smarter instead of throwing that slant on 3rd and 3, use Rico. I point at you, Mike McCarthy. Instead of going forward and on 31 on a fade route to Mingo, go ahead and get with Rico or Zeke and try to keep that first down. I blame you for that, Mike McCarthy. But I'm not going to go so far to say every time he faces opposition, he falls. I don't see that at all. But to me, I also got some critiques for Zimmer this game. And y'all know I've been...
But can I say something about that?
Yeah, sure.
I recant that it's every time.
Mm-hmm.
But it's over 70. It's 70% of the time, and that's good enough for me.
You think it's 70?
It's 70% of the time. I think it's good enough for me.
I think it's a lot of times. Okay, this is the thing I was saying. I'll shut up on this. Mm-hmm. The main issue I have with the Cowboys is that the Cowboys violate man principles.
Oh.
And this is what I mean. They violate man principles. Anytime the Cowboys, not anytime, a lot of times when the Cowboys are challenged with a strong opponent, they don't fight enough back. It's not about you losing the game. How you lose does mean something.
Yeah.
Like how you lost the fight does mean something. Did a guy run up and hit you in your mouth? You threw one punch. He hit you, and then you start to curl up, and he start to wail on you. You curl up in the fetal position. Well, you got beat down, right? And so the Cowboys consistently at the end of the season in playoffs the last several years, let me use that, have not, in my estimation, had the amount of fight equal to the opponent they were fighting when it was a good opponent. And that's the issue that I see with the Cowboys culturally, mentally, physically wise. And that's what I see.
My boy said, boss, let's look at the teams he went against on the 12-6. Listen, y'all. The teams that he went against on that 12-6 was some good teams in there, y'all. Let's not overreach because we mad at Mike McCarthy. Like, I get that he is an F up on certain things, but let's not to where we start making stuff up. So let's just be honest real quick. When Cooper Rush beat the Rams, who was the Super Bowl champs, was that little? That was not little. The Bengals wasn't either. Washington 4 weeks ago was not little. Tampa last week was not little. Come on, y'all. We can't just try to act like every team that the backups won against was weak. See, that's what I mean. Sometimes we overreach because of our dislike for Mike McCarthy. All I want us to do is be balanced in our analysis. We can still want him gone without lying on him. Like, we can still want him gone without making up stuff on him that's not true. It's like, you can talk about the dumb stuff he does and make that case without like totally throwing everything that he does in the trash. That's not fair. That's not good faith. That's not honest. And I'm not gonna ever do content like that, ever.
Was the offense did real well in those games?
But see, Coach, we can't do this. We can't say.
I'm just saying.
No, Coach. We can't do this. We can't be like Coach McCarthy is the head coach, but when they win, he not the head coach no more. So it's like, if it's him, if he the head coach over wins, he needs to be the head coach over losses too, or the head coach over losses needs to be the head coach over wins. Like, we can't take it away from him when he do a good thing and be like, how did the offense go? How do you think an offense gonna go when you playing with backups? How you think it's gonna go? It's gonna likely be way worse than when you had Dak Prescott. Like, any backup in the league is gonna be worse. The question is, did you pull it out as the head coach?
I agree with you on that. I just didn't hear nobody saying about Mike McCarthy last year when his defense gave up all those touchdowns in the playoff game. Nobody said Mike McCarthy was the problem.
Let me ask A.M.P this. I've been quiet. A.M.P. Is Mike McCarthy's leadership strong enough and good enough to make the Cowboys a championship team, in your opinion?
Is his leadership good enough? I didn't catch that last portion.
Is his leadership and his execution ability good enough to make the Cowboys a championship team? Because that's what everybody really wants to know, in my opinion. This is why people get mad, right? They may have misplaced judgment, misplaced aggression, but people really want to know, okay, are you really that guy? Because based upon what we're seeing, it looks like you're probably not that guy. But we'll say you, and we'll say you.
Man, that's a hellified question.
I know you can handle that. That's why I asked you.
So when we look at this question, we have to, and as currently erected, this current team, right? Not what it could be or what we might get, just how we are currently.
You can go wherever you want with that. Go wherever you want. It's up to you.
So currently, I'm gonna say yes, he does. Because to the point, I think we're missing in some other areas that we aren't being honest with. It's getting better, but I think your lack of leadership from your players is what's making the difference. Because as good as Jimmy was, Jimmy still needed generals on the field. The way Mike is, cool. I would love a lot more from him, but I would love a lot more from my players too. Like, yeah, I saw CD grow up this year. Yeah, he played through a little injury. I saw Michael mature a little, I'm seeing some other players kind of step up, even with having pieces removed and luxuries removed, but those players need to step up as well, because I still have etched in my memory how Michael Irvin was on the field, how Troy Aikman was on the field and on the sideline, how Dion was on the sideline. The list goes on. I don't see enough of that. So to me, honestly, I need everybody really in general to step it up. Mike has enough, but Mike ain't gonna be able to do it by himself.
I want to get
Mike is not the coach who can will you by himself.
Nah,
he gonna need some help.
Yeah.
But you open, before you go, boss, just really quick. You open up a can of worms in your response to the examples of a player such as a Michael Irvin. Okay, that brings up a second, and these are legitimate questions by me, by the way.
I don't know if they legit. I don't know.
No, I think they are legit. Because then the question begs, Boss Cowboy, and this one is for you, Boss Cowboy.
I'm listening, bro. I'm listening.
Okay.
It better be good.
Does the Cowboys culture allow for the type of players that can lead in today's NFL. Because you had Jimmy Johnson picking those players. You had Jimmy Johnson getting the Leon Letts, getting the Nate Newts, getting the Michael Irvins, getting the Emerson. You had Jimmy Johnson picking those players. But today it's different. A lot of these players and the choices are, some are Will McClay, others are manipulated by the decisions and the desires of Stephen and possibly Jerry Jones. So do we have the bandwidth culturally to get the type of player that can lead a team if the coach is not even on the level they need to be in?
No.
That's what I thought.
When your front office when your front office admitted 2 weeks ago that they have meetings after every game about player personnel, that's telling your hands are tied. So that's why, in my opinion, that's why we saw the same thing. Not even with just Mike McCarthy, we saw with Dan Quinn, we saw with Zimmer too, right? Where Zimmer had to basically beg for DTs, and they brought them things in late. So it's always gonna be a mix of no head coach is gonna have independence here. That's why it's more, and to me, who gives us our best chance. That's to me, that's what it's about. Who gives us our best chance? Because if we look at these coaches like they're in a vacuum, that we need this leader to come in that's gonna do this or do that, that's gonna shift the culture. Jesus Christ is not coming to this team.
Yeah, but you got to think and really be critical thinking as it relates to what type of coach that could fit in the parameters, in the box that he'll be in. Because he'll be in a box. Whoever it is, he'll be in a box. He'll be in the Cowboys box. All right, what caliber or type of coach can get the best out of the type of players that the Cowboys will give him? Is Mike McCarthy the guy to get the best out of the current type of Cowboy players that he has? That really begs the question. Is he smart enough to put you in position? Number one, let me back up. That's the first question. Is he smart enough to put you in position and to run the organization? And can he get the best out of these players, man? That's, to me, those are the two main questions.
I think no one can. I think he's one of our better options.
Okay.
Now, if I could divorce front office out of this, he's not our better option. He's not. If I could divorce front office, no, he's not. And I still, even today, will put Pete Carroll over him. I would still, to this day, want Pete Carroll right now over him.
I would do it yesterday.
Yeah, I would take Pete Carroll like that over him. Now, somebody else coming in here, Ben Johnson, hell no. Now, I see the benefits of Ben Johnson in terms of the play calling, but you go bring a new coach in here to deal with Jerry and Steve? Okay, good luck.
Unsullied.
Yeah, good luck. Yeah. You go trust a new coach to staff up the whole organization from scratch? Oh no, good luck. Like, I love your play calling, but what's your play calling gonna do to replace Al Harris? What's your play calling gonna do to replace Paul Gunther? Kevin. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Linda Wells, what's that gonna do? Right? So it's like, I see more potential harm from an overhaul than a tweak. I want some tweak. We might not agree on the exact tweak, but I think a tweak of some sort is better than an overhaul. And if the plan is overhaul, at this point of the season, I think we need details. I don't want this Madden coach, this where we giving descriptions of what we want, but we not putting no faces by it. Like people are doing on Madden. We finna give this player an all 99.
Created coach. Yeah.
A created coach. That person don't exist. I need you to put a name by this person, and at this point, I need you to start talking about the staff of this person.
And their credentials.
Well, I want to say this, man. Jason Garrett did 5 years, and we tweaked his staff. We tweaked him with another offense coordinator, and we took the play calling from him. And then we tweaked him with another offense coordinator, and we tweaked, and it got us nothing. It got progressively worse. So we can continue tweeting, and doing like what Other organizations would, if they felt that their talent, that they had drafted enough talent, if they felt that they have put some talent on this field, young talent on this field, and you have not produced and gotten it to the point where you needed point, other of those organizations would pull the trigger, and they would have brought in another coaching staff. I can understand what you're saying, but we're tweaking a guy that we can say he can not be the offense coordinator, and you can say, well, we can bring an offense coordinator in. What good is he as a head coach if he's not running the philosophy he wants to run?
But that's everybody though, coach.
That's another.
What coach will come in here and run his whole thing independent? Can you name him? Who is that?
Any person got a head coaching job, man.
You think any coach?
Listen here. They're running his philosophy now.
Listen, no. Coach.
Whose philosophy is this? Pass happy.
It's a mix, and it's not just a pass happy. And pass happy is not always bad, coach. You didn't complain about it last year. You tried to Detroit game, but you end up being wrong. And then you complained about it at the end of the season. After it worked for most of the season, so was it really the pass happy?
You ain't gonna put that on me, boss. Boss, you ain't putting that. Let's pull up the
You complained about it, coach.
I talked
at the end.
All year long.
No, you did. I did every watch party with you, coach. You did not.
I talked about it at the end, and I still say again, he didn't have his team ready to play against Green Bay.
Oh, no. We weren't talking about the playoffs.
We want to talk about.
No, you switch. You try to switch it, coach. You try to switch it. That ain't gonna work on me. You listen. If you're talking about regular season, you can't just switch it down to the playoffs.
Man, I can't.
But then we can do that too. Whatever you want to switch it to, I can play that game. But no, coach, what you're doing is you switch it. You do that a lot, coach. You like to switch. Because see, no, let's take it back to what you originally said.
Let's say facts. Let's say facts. Let me say this fact. I'm gonna say this.
Hold on, coach. I appreciate both of you all, and I appreciate both of your opinions. I appreciate both of your viewpoints, but y'all know, and I feel like I am well within my right to do this as a stakeholder in Boss Cowboy Sports. We gonna do this the right way. So one at a time. Let's go.
Okay, let me say this. If we want to say that I was with him or not with him, but let's state facts. We did a campaign, a hard campaign, to get rid of Kellen Moore because we said about what Kellen Moore's style was. And we're still putting the trust in that a guy that we got rid of, Kellen Moore, did the exact same thing Kellen Moore did that we got rid of. Last year, I might not have said something, but the stats show that we ran the ball 120 sometimes less than we ran with the previous 2 years Kellen Moore was there, and we probably ran it less than we did last year, this year. So this guy lied to us and said this was what we wanted. This is what we were going to change. But we didn't change that because that's what he went. And then I'm watching the Kellen Moore now run the ball 50 times a game. So they allowed McCarthy to do what he wanted to do. This is his team.
All right. So your original point that you
said. Facts.
All right. So see, A.M.P, this ain't me. So when I start talking, I'm not cutting Coach. Did I cut Coach off at all?
No,
this ain't me. That's Coach doing that. This is not me. So okay, I'm finna respond to you, Coach. I need to be allowed to respond. All right, because your original thing that you said, Coach, not playoffs, not philosophy of passing versus run. What you originally said is we need a coach that's going to come in here and do his own thing. And I said, who is able to do that? Here. Nobody's able to do that here. That's my point. So it's like, we keep reaching for these standards that's not going to apply here. That's my whole point. So it's like we putting out a face that don't exist. We looking for a savior that's not there. Whoever we talking about need to fit the fact that they're going to be meddled with here. What coach is not going to be meddled with? Can you answer that, Coach?
Why? I'm still trying to figure out why you saying this is not McCarthy's style.
I didn't ask that question.
So
I
he's
said,
doing
what
he wanna
coach?
do.
And I
He
didn't
is
even talk
doing what
about
he
that.
wanna do.
I didn't even talk about that.
You say what coach? I'm telling you, he's doing what he do. Martin Carter is doing what he want to do.
Why
That's
you yelling,
Coach is
coach?
doing
Why
what
you
he wanna
yelling at
do.
me, coach? What I do to you?
But you said you've been telling me saying what coach is coming in here. But I'm telling you, Mike McCarthy's doing all he done his whole career, right here.
All right.
This is what he doing.
See, coach, I understand where you coming from because it's obvious that you believe that it's one way to win the Super Bowl, running the ball. It's pretty obvious, and that's been disproven too.
No.
See, because you keep making cases.
Now you saying that I'm
No, coach.
I'm just a ready.
Yeah, coach, because that's the case you just made. You talked about the case of how many times he threw the ball or ran the ball. We didn't talk about time of possession where he was third. We didn't talk about his offense being number one, did we? We just talked about his style. What's wrong with his style last year if his style was third in time of possession, which you like, and number one in terms of touchdowns and yards? What's wrong with that? Like, why we knocking that? What's the problem with that? Now, if you want to make the case, was he figured out? I'm going to rock with you on that. But I'm not going to rock with you that he was a failure last year when he was not. I'm not going to do that. Nobody can say that in good faith because that's not true.
Ball, shift off me for a second.
All right.
I just think in the bigger games, his offense did not show well.
Last year?
Miami. Yeah, the bigger games.
Yeah. Well, I felt like he put 35 points in that playoff game. And that was a big game. And that was his offense. And his offense is finesse. See, if we say that, I agree. I agree. If you say finesse, I agree with you. If I say you can't really establish a physical presence, I agree with you. But if you say pass, you can't win a Super Bowl with a pass-happy offense, I don't agree with you. Because there's too many teams that have done it. So it's, to me, about if it was Mike McCarthy as the play caller, how would we make him have success with his style? If it was him as the play caller. To me, that would be my way about going about it.
See, I think that the frustration is coming from, in the argument, the frustration is coming from the unknown. And the unknown is how much control does one individual have over a certain aspect of this team? Yeah. How much control do Jerry and Steven insert into the team? How much control does the head coach have? How much control does the OC have? How much control does Will McClay have? And see, that's what we don't know. So we really don't know. We really don't know who's responsible for what in totality. Now, based off of the evidence that has been presented and the clues that we have tried to put together over the years, we have a strong idea, but we don't know. So to place complete blame over any one individual would be foul on anybody's part, because again, you're doing that without all of the information. So I think what we want, this is the other dynamic of the argument. What we truly want, what Cowboys Nation truly wants, what Coach Marv truly wants, what Boss Cowboy and the OC truly wants, we can't get it.
Right.
And the reason we can't get it is because Jerry and Steven won't let us get it. They made that decision a long time ago. So we get frustrated. We get in arguments and disputes with one another because we can't get what we want, what we desire, what we feel this team really, really needs. That's where the real frustration comes from, because it's like, damn, we've watched this movie replay over and over again, and it's like we tired of seeing the same damn ending. Can we please get some new actors in here, please? Can we change the scenes up a little bit? That's where the frustration comes from. For me, I know for definite.
Real quick.
Yeah.
Hold on real quick. I got you. Oh, see, I promise I'm be quick. He said, I think it was more on Dak of overcoming non-creativity. Not last year. So, like, I've heard that rumor, but I also broke this down and I listened to the Jason Garrett interview in detail. What he actually said was, And we got to remember what was going on at the time. We can't forget the context of what was going on. What was going on is, remember, Dak was coming off 17 interceptions. We had a new offense called the Texas Coast, right? We also didn't have a whole bunch of preseason, right? So when we didn't have a lot of preseason reps, they did all the reps in training camp, but they methodically started the offense, which me and the OC debated about governor offense versus spicy Dak. You remember that, OC?
Yeah, I do.
So, and I was saying I like the governor offense. It just wasn't effective in the red zone. Because if you remember correctly, Mike McCarthy's offense in the first 5 games, even while it was struggling, was number 1 in 10 play drives. They just wasn't finishing good. So Dak said in that interview with Jason Garrett, he said he went to Mike McCarthy and said, we need to do what we was doing in training camp. So Dak didn't overhaul the offense and just all of a sudden start play calling. That didn't happen. What happened was they went back to what they installed, which means it was still Mike McCarthy's offense. They just went to the vertical form of it and it worked. That's the truth. It wasn't that Dak was like, this offense dumb, let's get away from it. I got this brand new offense that I'm just finna just lay out after the bye and it's gonna work. It didn't happen like that. So
highlight Lou's
which
comment
one?
real quick.
Which one?
The most recent one about reverting back. I think that's a great point.
What do you mean? But why did he revert back to square one?
So we took some leaps and bounds last season with the offense, right? They tweaked things in that bye week or whatever, and then when we started the season, it looked like we were starting back from square one to the beginning of last season.
Yeah, I mean, I put it like this. I feel like Mike McCarthy, I think it's a lot of this can be true. Like, in terms of Mike McCarthy figured out, I think it's some truth in that. And I know defenses is going to always study the number 1 threats. If you look at the trends, it also wasn't just the Cowboys that got figured out. Who else got figured out? Miami.
Really did.
Yup. And who else got figured out? Kansas City too. You know, so if anybody is saying that as a play caller, he's figured out, yeah, it's some evidence of that. Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, let me jump in and go back to something that A.M. said that's important. I do think that we have enough context clues to figure out most of the pieces of this puzzle. I think that the Cowboys micromanage to the degree that they can. In other words, they want as much control as they possibly can have, aka the player personnel meetings every single week, right? But the Cowboys executive team, they don't know football as well as a high-level football coach. They still don't. They don't know the game as well. So as much as they can manage in terms of, why don't we do this? Why don't we do that? They want to be involved. But when it comes down to the game itself and calling plays in game, Mike McCarthy is making those calls. That's mine.
Yeah.
He's calling that game.
Look,
he's calling that game.
Something else I think we got to look at too.
Hold on, he won't finish.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
No, it's all right. I'll be done in 1 second.
My bad.
Also,
you good?
No, you're good. You're fine, bro. No offense taken. So look, also in game, right? Our defensive coordinator Zimmer, the schemes, the ideals, the inserts, the packages. No, look, Zimmer is making those calls. The calls that they are not making is the pressure to play this player over that player. Getting certain position players in the building, right?
Right.
The decisions to sign a player now or make him play out his contract, right? They're not involved in those decisions. But the in-game stuff, I think we need to have clarity surrounding that for proper evaluation. No, that's them. They're making those decisions. Now they're gonna answer for it later. They're gonna change based on feedback, but they're making those initial decisions.
Yeah. Go ahead, Al.
I think something else we got to look at too, and Jerry Jones admitted this the other day. He said, think I got a little too far over. Well, we got a little too far over our skis,
right?
As far as the offensive lineman is concerned, and they pretty much thought that they were going to be plug and play. And I think also what we witnessed, and I asked that previous question to kind of come to this conclusion. They weren't confident in the O-line at the beginning of the season. And I think we all will admit that the play of the offensive line at the beginning of the season left a lot to be desired. So as the play caller, as the play designer, as the installer, and the caller, how do you call a confident game when you're shaky about your offensive line?
Let me kind of piggyback on that point real quick, and I got you, Coach. I got you. I'm gonna just piggyback real quick on what M just said. It's another thing to what M just said too. Because see, Mike Solari took some bullets, didn't he? Over Tyler at left guard, Tyler Guyton and BB. Now, Coach Marv was telling us from the beginning, great insight on this. He said before anybody, he said Awesome Richards gonna have something to say about that left tackle and Chuma. Nobody was saying that. Coach was by himself. It was nobody with Coach on that. He was by himself on that. You know what I'm saying? Yep. He was standing alone on that. But just think about it. If you and Coach Marv and Mike Solari was the people saying that left tackle go probably be shaky a little bit. It could be. Keep your eye on it. You know what I'm saying? Keep your eye on it. But then you got Jerry and Steven out there who declared Tyler Guyton and Cooper Beebe will start. But then they say after the whole damage is done and we now game 16, I think we made a mistake. But whose name and reputation was damaged? Mike Solari. Go ahead, Coach.
And I heard the statement that Jerry said. Now let me clarify what Jerry said. Jerry don't know nothing. He only thing he's saying to, and see, this would kill a lot of people and that's why I don't listen to Jerry and Steven. Because what he's saying is what he got in the meetings from coaches. He ain't coming up with it himself. He asked them, they tell him, then he come out and say something to make himself sound like he's such a football guy. Right? But it goes back what Boss said in the game today. That they came out and utilized these young linemen in the wrong way to get them acclimated into the game, where they should have been leaning on the run game and getting them better into the game, which helps still get better in the game. When we start running the ball more, still pass blocking wasn't the issue anymore, was it?
Right.
But when we start running the ball more, getting Cooper Rush hit was not an issue.
Right.
How many times you seen Cooper Rush get sacked? So when we start getting a physical presence and having physicality to it, the linemen, BB and Tyler Guyton, maybe not look as great, but they look better. That goes into the malpractice of your coordinator who didn't get these guys in the best place where they could have gotten better. So what you do as a coach is, when I didn't do the job of calling plays to get them signed, know what I say? Well, maybe we should have, stopped it. They didn't play as well, and we should have, maybe did something different because they kind of let us down. No, you let us down. You let us down on how you instructed and get them in the game. So you cover your butt to say that, and then Jerry runs back and says what you said. That's just how it went. Because Jerry don't know about Jerry been practicing. He's like, okay, that's what we think. Okay, and then he goes and tells everybody. It's like he's some football guy, like he out there training somebody.
Man. Hey, so check this out. Check this out. I wanted to go back to the game real quick. And before I go back to the game, I want to say something that's very important. People got to be comfortable with debate, right? Some people might have got uncomfortable with Coach Marv and I going back. That's very healthy and very necessary. I'm going to just say that. You always want that between two people that want to win, because at the end of this, both of us, I know this hands down, want a championship. I fight everybody on this panel. It's part of it. But it's the part of, to me, what make this panel great. Everybody independent. Ain't nobody fed what to say. Everybody got their own mind. So, but it's one of those things at the end of all of this, whether you agree with me, agree with Coach, agree with OC, agree with A.M.P, I guarantee this whole panel got one heartbeat on trying to win this thing. I guarantee you that. So I just wanted to say that because debate is healthy, and I welcome it and I love it. You know what I'm saying? It's, to me, and I feel like for the most part we do it in the right spirit. You know, like for real, we're not toxic. We don't trip. Like, you know what I mean? We talked over each other a little bit, but that was about it. So,
Can I say something, boss?
I was about to grab my damn whistle.
Hold on, let me say something, man. Listen, man, I've been coaching for a long time, and if you was in some coaching meetings,
right,
or some meetings with our athletic director,
yeah,
there was been more debates and hype and arguments than the
Tell him, coach. Tell him.
If you ain't got no, and this is the main thing that I say that just why I have a problem with McCarthy.
Yeah.
If you ain't got the ability to stand on your what you think will win in behind those doors and have those arguments and not worry about it and let your butt your rocks hang, and you just gonna take it, then I need somebody who got those balls to do that behind the scenes. It ain't got to be in front of the camera, but they got to be behind the scenes, and they can't be no guy say, well, whatever you say.
That's likely to
that's not a winning philosophy.
That's likely to Abel. When you look at the history of Abel, what you want is in Abel. Because
I need somebody to have that wall to do that.
Because Abel, that's one of the reasons why they said that they didn't like him at Tennessee. They said he was a little bit too intimidating to front office. See, that mean he had some run-ins with them. That if you read between the lines, that really mean he had some run-ins where he was flexing.
It's good, man.
Yeah. And he probably made their front office uncomfortable. Just
man, that man went to Joe Clark office and flipped the table. That's what happened.
Feeling.
Yeah, right.
It's too comfortable in Dallas, man. We done got too comfortable with losing, man. We done got too comfortable to the norm. We need somebody that's gonna come in here to be uncomfortable. And listen, if it's a fire starter, listen, man, listen here. And I always keep telling people, say, man, when they was like, well, the Jones is going, what they'll do is fire. If they fire you, you got the perfect excuse in the world. Because the only thing you got to do is go in the press conference and say, yeah, man, y'all know how the Joneses are. And guess what? Everybody agree with you.
Yeah.
But you got to stand by. I need somebody to stand behind that wall, maybe not in front of that camera, but I need somebody to go get some conflict and to say, hey, I got to stand on what I believe to win. If you make me stand on something I don't believe to win, if we lose, how am I going to feel as a man?
Yeah. And see, Coach.
Well, let me see what's up real quick, boss.
You got
it. There's two main things at play here. On one side, it is the Joneses' fault. Because the Joneses will sabotage a good coach and a good plan with personnel decisions based upon salary cap and their preference. They'll mess you up with some people that shouldn't be there, or some people that they're gonna push for and lobby for you to play that really shouldn't be in there. On the other side of it, I see is that it's Mike McCarthy because, and we talked about this a lot ad nauseum, and you guys were all right about this. All three of y'all were really right about this. The lack of commitment initially in the season to run the football definitely hurt the development of your young rookie linemen.
Sure did.
It hurt their development, man.
Yep.
Because what you're doing is you're taking a 21-year-old dude. Okay, imagine this. You're taking a 21-year-old dude that used to seeing college-level pass rushers, and you're putting him on an NFL field versus 27, 28, 29, 30-year-old dudes that pass rush for a living and have had at least 2 NFL contracts. It's just tough. It's going to be tough. And I said this even about our first-round draft pick. I even said about Tyler Guy, I said, look, he's going to need some time to develop, man. He's going to take his ups and downs. He's not going to be a one-hit wonder, instant wonder. The main difference between him and Tyler Smith, and this is, I'm going to give some free game away today. I'm in a giving mood and giving spirit. I'm going to give y'all a little game. One of the biggest things you need to look at, if you're looking at plug-and-play offensive linemen, outside of their feet is their strength level. Do they have NFL strength level? So the biggest thing that helped Tyler Smith his rookie year is he already had grown man strength. He already had back-breaking strength. He already had real power. When he stepped on the field, he had real power. Tyler Guyton is a guy that he got to get stronger. Tyler Guyton has a good frame but a bad foundation. He don't got the power. He don't have the stick-to-itiveness, physicality to win some of these battles, man. And that's why he gets beat and he gets bent in at the top of pass rushes. People shed him off of run blocks, make tackles, stuff like that. So I see it's both sides of this thing, but at the end of the day, the top of this thing is leadership. And it's the philosophy that your front office wants to have, because the team that we just played, you can tell their philosophy. What is their philosophy? Year in and year out, they want to be physical. They like big, tough dudes. And guess what? And it's the Eagles. This is our division foe. They end up getting big, tough dudes all the time. Look at the 49ers. They end up getting tough, physical, fast players all the time. Because as a leadership from the top, that's their philosophy.
I promised it was gonna be 20 minutes.
That's why I just chuckled a few minutes ago.
It's way past 20 minutes, and we still really kind of dealing with the first topic. We ain't even got to the other stuff. I want to be fair to the panel. If anybody got to exit,
I'm Gucci.
Okay, if you could hang, that's cool too. I just want to be fair to y'all and keep my promise, because Coach Marv works, A.M.P works. He got, and the OC got 40 jobs. So if y'all can hang for a little bit, I'm almost to my next couple of points I want to get to. If y'all can hang, real quick, this stream, this post game is brought to you by BetUS. 150% bonus on your first 2 deposits, 125% on your next 2 deposits, up to 2,000. Promo code YouTube 150. Ooh, I could take this show so many directions. Woo! Cause y'all got me going. All right, let me.
So before you
Man,
pivot,
see, that's what be prolonging it. That's what, every time I try to go to the next topic, that's what prolonged the show right there. What do y'all say before you go to the? Go ahead, Al. Go. We gonna make it. We gonna make it a marathon.
I got one more pushback, Coach. And I know you said, with the Garrett era, we did the tweaking and all that. Let me ask you this: what happened when we tore it up and got Bill Parcells in here? I remember 0-2. I remember 0-2. When we flipped the script,
0-2.
I'm talking about 0-2 as far as the record, playoffs. He had some good regular season success, but we ain't doing nothing in the playoffs under his tenure. And I'm saying that.
Yeah, but
that was a situation where they tore it up and they went with the guy. They went with the guy. And we flipped everything, and then we still had the same result. So I'm like,
right.
Listen, do you remember when Parcells came in? How bad the cover was?
It was.
It was totally bad. He took a bipolar quarterback and won the division, and then he took Tony Romo won it. Listen, man, the cover they were 5-11 3 years in a row before Bill Parcells got here. So that's a different story if you bring somebody now with this cover that we got now. I just think this is the same scenario of, and I said this last week, I think this is the same scenario as, and Tony Dungy was a leader of me. I just think it needs a new voice to make these guys team. I think it's the same situation as Tampa Bay was at the crest, and they brought in John Gruden, and next thing they know, they went over the top.
I'm gonna say something before I move to my next topic. I ain't gonna let none of y'all interrupt me no more. Okay. For real. All right. This is my concern for the Weber types. It's not Weber. It's front office that scared me about Weber. It's not Weber. If it was, I'm afraid that Weber would get ran off by front office quick. You know what I mean? That's my concern. Is
we don't like that kind of coaching here.
Yeah.
You don't do that like around these parts, boy. You listen to us, boy.
Yeah.
We pay the bills, boy.
And then where they start sabotage, they can start sabotaging them too, bro. Like for real. So it's not Weber. I want y'all to fully understand what I'm saying. I don't disagree with Coach on like 80% of what he's saying, 90% of what he's saying. It's when I add front office to that Kool-Aid, I'll be like,
that shit gonna be like oil and water.
This man was crazy enough to fire Jimmy Johnson for speaking up.
Well, Jimmy Johnson did get disrespectful. I ain't gonna lie.
I agree with that too. He
went too hard. He went way.
He did go too hard. I agree. That's balanced. That's fair.
I will say this, boss, and this is the God's on the truth here. If you are right that they would start sabotaging, then we might well pack it up, fellas. If that's the mentality, we're not going to ever win a Super Bowl here in Dallas.
Yeah.
If they gonna go the far of sabotage somebody doing something that's winning because they won their way, then you're right. There is no hope.
Yeah, and see, I can see them doing it because they sabotage themselves now. They do. So
Can
it's
we
just.
address the elephant in the room just really quick, boss? Just this one big elephant.
See, I knew what y'all was gonna do it. I knew it.
One big elephant. It's just one man. It's just massive.
This is good TV.
Look, y'all know the problem, right? Do y'all know the real problem? I'll summarize it.
I'm listening.
The Cowboys don't really care about winning the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
The Cowboys don't really care. They don't really care about winning the Super Bowl. I mean, it will be nice, but it's not priority number one. The Cowboys don't care. Being the most popular and profitable franchise is the second goal.
Right.
That's the second goal, okay? Winning the Super Bowl is the first goal. That's the first goal.
That's true.
That's the issue with the Cowboys.
Let me get to these next topics.
And
they're going to be quick. Let's rapid fire these.
All right.
Special shout out to the young bull, man.
Mm-hmm.
I think, we obviously, talked about a lot of negative. He's a definite positive. To step up in a way, this literally happened. I was typing on Twitter that Louisville has stepped up in replace of Overshawn. And Coach Marv said at the exact same time.
At the same damn time.
To the point I had to show it.
Yeah.
That is so exceptional, especially at the level Overshawn was playing. Yeah. So I want to just all of us to talk about the future with some of these young guys and what this whole process could be doing. We could be quick on this. Let's go around the circle. I got one more topic after this, and then we'll give our final words, and we'll get up out of here. So let's start with you, Coach. What's your thoughts?
Yeah. Man, I think Louisville is exactly what Zimmer liked about Louisville. He had a fondness of Louisville doing minicamp. They had a fondness for Louisville at the beginning of the season, but they tried him out, but they know that he had to get his sea legs on him and learn a little bit, so they had to bring him along slowly. But they say his smartness and his aggressiveness is what they draft. And like I said, man, this organization does a good job of getting raw pieces in here that can play football, undrafted free agent as well as draft picks, man. But I think the guys that they got on the defense, the young guys, Louisville as well as number 94, plays very well. Maybe not off the field, but the stuff I see from him, technique wise and wise, is very good. And I think we got very good. But we need to keep building on that, because the only going to defense, two or three guys getting paid, and everybody else is going to have to keep 4 years and out and replace.
So, that dude there, man, I can't say enough good things about him. When you look at him, he is, for the most part, he's where he's supposed to be. That's the biggest thing. Because last year, y'all know, A.M.P was losing his mind with linebackers being where they're supposed to be. Hey, we laughed about it, but I told y'all, two men are not supposed to be in the same hole at the same time. So the fact that he's where he's supposed to be, he gets there quickly, and when he arrives at the scene, he arrives violently. That's the kind of individual I want to see as a linebacker for my team. That's the type of individual, to me, who is worthy enough of sporting that green dot. And to a point, he almost makes you miss not even miss Overshown.
Right.
Like he didn't miss a beat. Like he was Kendrick's counterpart the entire game. They were a nice fluid tandem, the same way we saw with Overshown. Their skill sets are a little bit different and their violence is a little bit different. But both great in their own right. Again, speedy recovery to Overshown, but this guy Leofow, man, we need to add some more. I still say we need to invest in that room this offseason, especially considering you won't have Overshown at your disposal. I'm cool with Kendricks, but I think Kendricks needs an insurance policy just on the health aspect.
Yeah, I'll keep it quick on him, man. Look, I like young players that are smart, that are physical, and, man, they're quick to get to the hole, man. They're quick to get where they're supposed to get. And that's what he is, man. He's smart. He's physical. He's coming there, really to try to lay wood on you and try to knock you out if he can. And he's where he's supposed to be in terms of, like, his run fits. So good job by him, man. He has a great upside.
And this is my last topic before we give our final words on the post. I feel like Zimmer let us down a little bit. Just a little bit.
Just a little.
I want to be balanced because the effort was good. We was bragging on Zimmer on the first half. What I didn't see, and I'm like, why? Why was Booth in there so long?
Mm-hmm.
That was unlike him. Like when he clearly getting cooked, and you got Pride, right? You got Israel. You got other options. I just didn't understand that, I feel like also he was put in a lot of bad situations today. He was. And I would also say the run defense in the second half did regress. It did. They beat us up in the second half with Saquon. But we also dealing with one of the biggest, best offensive lines in the world. So I just wanted to get y'all thoughts on that. We go do the same thing. We go in reverse this time and get y'all thoughts on Zimmer's and his performance this game.
Yeah, I think that Coach Zimmer could have done some things better, but then there were certain things that was out of his control.
Okay.
The personnel of Philadelphia was out of his control. That was out of his control. So it's only so many plays you can call,
right,
when they're just physically mauling you. It's only so many coverages you can call,
right,
when the dude is just faster than the DB. He can just run past you.
Right.
It's like you can cover 2, cover 3, cover 4, cover whatever, cover 10. Like the dude he just outrunning you, man.
Yeah.
And this is a part of
That's
what
real.
Mike Zimmer was facing today, man. He was facing just a very, very good roster. He was facing the best offensive line in the NFL. And I watch a lot of offensive line tape. They are the best unit.
Right.
They are the best unit in the league. They consistently beat you up. They consistently break defensive linemen and inside linebackers to their will. And the Cowboys were no different. So the Cowboys didn't have the personnel, right, to beat them. Now, Zimmer could have, run blitz some more. He could have, ran 5 or 6 down linemen. He could have Sam fired strategically, right, to maybe give them a chance. But he also could have gave up 55 points instead of 41. Right? Because if they catch some of that stuff and they burn
over your
blitz beaters, then now you're giving up more points. So yeah, he could have done some stuff better, but it wasn't nothing he could do about that roster. Saquon is good, but that offensive line is great, and that was the difference in the game.
Yeah. It bodies, you need them, and he didn't have them. I would have liked to see some different things, but the OC point, like you said, you overcompensate in one area to cover an issue, and then you vacate another area. Now you cause another issue. So you would have been susceptible to them throwing it over your head at that point. Yeah, I was a little disappointed in my defense. Some of the things that he has been doing over the last couple of weeks, we've been kind of able to get away with, or he's been able to get away with, because there weren't necessary threats offensively like the Philadelphia Eagles had at their disposal. Also, the things that we were doing the last couple of weeks, we were able to do because you had secure cornerback play that kind of helped you. So as a result, he was able to gamble a little bit more. So I'm disappointed in Zim, but I'm also doing it in a measured fashion.
Yeah, just keeping it real on him. Coach,
I think it was maybe a little bit. Zim didn't have his the defense to say they didn't have their best game, but they really gave up 35 points in this game. One was a pick 6 out of 41.
Yeah.
And then we had a turnover in our possession when the tight end fumbled the ball with a short field. So
right.
I think at the end they gave up a lot of big plays at the end because they were consistent with the run game. And then the dam started to open up. When you're consistent at the run game and then you get more plays, I think in the second half we didn't have the ball. I think they dominated time possession in the second half because we couldn't really move the ball. If you look at 7 points, we only moved the ball that one drive, and then after that we didn't move the ball at all really. And they just and when you're consistent with the run game with that big offensive line and you keep pounding it at you, and then you with the play action pass, it wore our defense down to a point where the dam started to break. And we gave us some big plays down the end. So I don't say the defense played as bad, considering that your offense did not help control the game a little bit better. And then we gave those turnovers that gave them more plays to run against us. So so this defense could have, if they were really playing bad, they could have gave up. Saquon could have broke the record today, but it took a couple of big runs at the end for him to get his 2,000 yards. He didn't get it with just 5 or 6 yards carry. He got it because he had 2 runs over 30 yards, and that's how he got it. So other than that, we was keeping him in check, and we were keeping their passing game in check. Brown only got a catch at the end, and I think Devontae Smith got a catch, a slant pass. So I think the defense played well, but again, there was some bad plays, but I think Zimba's still teaching. He's still teaching his team. He's still teaching his defense. And to win games against good teams, you need the offense and defense to play consistent level to win.
So
at this point, boss, before you go, can I say one quick thing? Sorry, just one super quick thing. I did forget to shout out somebody that I was worried about, who showed tremendous resilience, tremendous toughness. It's really playing like a big boy. And really, the best is yet to come. I would say 2 years from now, in terms of what he can do pass rush wise and continue to improve in the run game. Mozzie Smith. Mozzie Smith is playing tough, man. He's playing strong in them gaps. He was the reason why they did not score on that first QB sneak on the goal line. And man, he's in there fighting, man. So I want to shout him out for his development and for him being much improved.
Man, that's a good one. I'm glad you stopped me.
That's dope.
That's a real good one. He took a lot of heat, man. You know what I'm saying? And he deserved credit. And I agree with you. He playing much better, bro. And then for him to be like this in year 2, I'm excited about his year 3.
Mozzie Smith, boss, I know you do a lot of college work, right?
Yes, sir.
You did work on Mozzie Smith. You did work on Jalen Tolbert. Both of them in college they didn't have real good freshman years. In their second year they got better, and their third year they were drafted. They got in the position to be drafted. Those guys are probably guys that they are slow starters when they get to different levels, but they get better and better as they go. That's how they did in college. and they're doing the exact same thing in the NFL. Exact same pattern.
He fought to the end too. I noticed that about Mozzie. Even when the score was out of hand, he was out there still scrapping, still fighting. You know. So
for real,
I want to throw a comp out there before I get my final word. I feel like he could be Payne when he fully mature.
Agree. Really good comp. Great comp, boss. Love the comp.
For real?
He just has to develop a little bit more hip fluidity on playing on the shoulder pads of guards and centers. Just a little bit more hip fluidity so that basically, because he's powerful enough to jackknife you, but he has to work his hips and his hands to really pull his body through, and then that will create 6 to 7 sacks a year for a dude like him, along with what he's doing, being super strong at the point of attack, and as he gets better shedding blocks and running down the sideline, running down the line of scrimmage, left and right. Yeah, but he has to work hard on that though. He got to clean that part up, but he has the potential to do it.
If I'm still doing Bet US as a sponsor next year, I'm a bet on a crazy year for Mozzie next year. I'm gonna take that bet.
So. One other thing he needs to work on, he needs to be in tip-top condition. He cannot spend half of the year talking about I need to get in shape. He does not come out of training camp not being in tip-top shape. He cannot even come into training camp not being in shape. He's finding out as he got in shape better this year, his play got better, but that still puts you behind. So he got to come in the door saying, I can go 70 plays if I got to go.
Yeah, love it, Coach. And I'm glad y'all agree with Payne. I thought somebody was gonna say I was crazy.
No, I can see it.
And if you get especially if you watch how Payne been playing lately, man, if he end up being Payne, bro, we gonna be nice. We gonna be nice at that DT. But anyway, let me get my final words and say this. I warned that it was going to be up and down, right? It was going to be wins and losses at the end. What people go remember about all these coaches, literally, is how they finish. So we coming to the end. This was a bad one to finish on. So, not all, but a lot of the credit that you was able to reserve and build, you gonna lose some of it this week. But if you get dog walk next week, ain't none gonna save these coaches. Ain't none gonna save these coaches. Because to me, that's the last thing people remember, and that's what the pressure is gonna be from the public. The public is gonna be about how these men finish. You cannot Zimmer, you cannot McCarthy, you cannot have this type of game next week. Win or lose, it better be competitive, it better be smart. It better be full of common sense. That's my final word, or you out. Go ahead.
Right.
Go ahead, El.
Man, I got some inadvertent smoke. The smoke said that was a good comment, boss. Nonetheless, man, hey, I like it. Finish strong.
Yep.
That's what we want. It couldn't it be? Normally, y'all know A.M.P is long-winded. I can definitely go with the best of them, but I just want to see this team finish strong. You know my motto: good, better, best. Never let it rest till your good becomes your better and your better becomes your best. Until next time, Cowboys Nation. Y'all be blessed.
Man, that smoke go hard.
Hey man, listen man. Hey, it's always to have, good to watch a football game, man. But I just want to make two major points, right? One, it's amazing that a guy like Kellen Moore can come on a head coach and he says, I don't care about your pass happy stuff. You're going to run the football here. And he falls in line with whatever his head coach says and what his organization says. And he puts his ego aside to say, hey, we're going to do what's best for this team.
Yeah.
The second thing is,
that's true.
I will say this about this Cowboy Nation. I've said this before, and I think we have always said about this organization, they give credit to where they're paying the money to.
That's right.
Well, I think we should clamor, and this is why one of another reason that I'm kind of out on this coaching staff. I want us to clamor on the table and say, if we're putting all this effort to cheer for you, and we're the biggest cheering organization, we got the most YouTubers in the world, and we doing all this content, all this work because we are dedicated Cowboy fans, you should have the highest paid coaching staff and the best coaching staff in this league, because there ain't no salary cap. And if you don't give us that, that's like having a store, and they don't give you they're the best store in the world, but when you walk in the store, the floor is all torn up, or the janitors ain't cleaned the place up. You gonna say, hey man, we put too much money in here for us not to have the best people running this place. And I think we should clamor on the table. If you want to get a coaching staff, pay them what they're worth, and then you will have a problem trying to cease them being quiet because they're getting paid well. If you're not getting paid well, they'll do all that kind of crazy stuff to you. So we should push for that. We push for that to get paid. We push for Mike Parks to get paid. We push for CD Lamb to get paid. We need to push to say, hey, we're tired of having the lowest paid coaching staff in the league for the last 15 years. And the others were the ones who paying their coaches, they win the Super Bowls. That's where I think we need to push this off.
So listen, man, at the end of the day, the Cowboys got decisions to make, and the Cowboys have to decide, do they want to be average or do they want to be great? And if they want to be great, the Cowboys, after this next week, they're going to have to make some significant changes, not just on coaching staff, but they're going to have to upgrade their philosophy and their approach to the game, into how they want to construct a roster. And I think if the Cowboys do those things, hey, we'll be back in the playoffs next year. We'll be more competitive. Man, also, don't forget to follow all these channels here, man, at A.M.P Sports, also Boss Cowboy Sports, Coach Marv, and the OC100 on X, all right? So that's my final word, man. Salute.
Today's stream was brought to you by BetUS, where you can receive 150% bonus on your first deposit and 125% on your next two deposits up to 2,000. Promo code YouTube150. That's the post game. We got one more. Executives, let's finish strong. I already know this panel is gonna finish strong. Peace.
Peace. Great show, fellas.
Great show. Loved it.
Great show.